All right, guys, thanks for being here and welcome if this is your first time at LinkedIn Local. It's great events, definitely worth coming to. So a little bit about me, just about why I'm here, standing here in front of you today talking about LinkedIn and video marketing. So I've been in video marketing and been running a video production business here on the Sunshine Coast for 13 years. And for about the first 5 or 6 years, we were doing business videos. So we were going out to small businesses like you guys in the room here, and we were creating video content for them. We were getting paid. The clients loved the videos that we were creating. We would kind of finish up and would move on and go and find another business to create a video for. And that was great, right? Makes sense. But there was one particular time, and I remember it very, very clearly, about 8 years ago in the business, where we completed a brand video for a business. They'd spent about $5,000 on this video and another shorter version of the video. So they had invested a bit of money in that video, right? But 6 months after delivering that video, the client was stoked with what we delivered for them. But 6 months later, being curious, I checked back on what they'd done with that video. And what they had done is simply uploaded it to YouTube, stuck it up in the corner of their website, and over that time, in 6 months, it had amassed 34 views. And needless to say, there wasn't a clear return on that video's investment, right? Does this sound familiar to anyone? So what that realised in me was that something was missing. Something was missing here. We'd delivered a great video. The client had got what they had paid for. The client thought it was great as well and gone on with their business. But what they didn't actually want the video. What they wanted was the result that video was going to give for their business, right? And we didn't deliver that. We were failing them. So that kind of kicked off for me an 8-year journey, well now 8 years, and it continues every single day, of becoming what I call a video strategist and learning what video marketing and video strategy was all about, and then applying that for our clients. And that's the backbone of what we do now at Innovate Media, is we create strategies and we help clients implement that through video content. But let me just take this story back a bit further. So before I started the business, so we've been running this company for 13 years here on the coast, but before I started this, I was a high school teacher. So I taught high school film and television and drama. But there was one thing, regardless of the subject area that you were teaching as a high school teacher, that you learned very quickly. And every time that you rolled out this tactic, this thing within a classroom, the 30 students in the room would sit up and pay attention, and they would know that they were in for a good lesson. And every teacher knows this, and I think intrinsically every student knows this as well, that then when this bad boy got wheeled into the classroom, you knew you were in for a good time, right? You knew that instinctively. You're like, yes, put the books away, put the pens away. And did it look like this? Does this bring back memories? Yeah, for me too. I don't think they exist like this anymore, right? But, I'm looking around the room. I think we're all on the same sort of page here. So, remote control. Oh, it has remote control, that one. So that's a fancy one. That's a fancy one. Yeah, okay. Let's not get bogged down in the technology, or lack of technology. But we know that video has a power to engage people in a very different way than someone standing up or talking or lecturing or sharing facts and figures or reading from a book. It has a way of engaging people that just is a combination of emotion and logic and reasoning and storytelling and engaging all the senses, and it's powerful. We know that. But now, obviously, if we fast forward to 2023, the world of video for business has changed. We know that video is everywhere. Every social media platform is a video platform. The demand for video content as a consumer is through the roof. The amount of hours that we're watching content on our phones is, even right now in the room, some people are watching things on their phones. Turn off TikTok, come on. But the thing is that we know that as a business, we need to be engaging our target audience with content that matters to them, that positions us in a way that makes us matter to them, right? And video is a very powerful way to do that. Let's talk about some statistics though, because it's all well and good you sitting there and nodding and thinking, yes, that sounds good, Ben, I agree with you here, but the statistics are pretty mind-blowing as well. So 91% of businesses use video as a marketing tool in 2023. Quick show of hands, are you using video consistently in your business right now? Okay, we're far from 91% of this room, okay? So there's some opportunity there. 92% of video marketers, so people who are doing video marketing, report a positive ROI with video. So it's a type of content that does work when done right. Let's talk specifically about LinkedIn. That's what we're here for tonight. So 96% of B2B marketers use LinkedIn for organic social marketing. Now that stat's not just about video, but it's about content, and video is a form of content. So 96% of B2B marketers using LinkedIn for organic social marketing. And when we combine that with videos get 5 times more engagement on LinkedIn than other content types, then we know that you're in the right place today to learn more about using video on LinkedIn. And what that tells me is that 2023 is the year of video. Again. I think I first started using this term in 2015. 2015, the year of video for business. And then 2016, the year of video. 2023, we're still talking about it. And it's still as important as ever. So a little bit about me, quick rundown. I kind of told you a little bit of the story there, but my name is Ben Amos. I run a company called Innovate Media, 13 years here on the Sunshine Coast. I also founded another brand called Engage Video Marketing, where I coach and consult and teach video strategy to other video producers around the world. That's going well and that's lots of fun. I host a podcast called the Engage Video Marketing Podcast and a YouTube channel. I've been doing this for 25 years in various forms, 13 years in the business. And like I said, it's that last 8 years that really prompted that change of focus on what we call strategy-first production rather than just video for video's sake. That's how to connect with me if you want to connect with me. LinkedIn's a good way to connect. I should put a LinkedIn on there. Slap on the wrist. A network area. Great. Okay. I'm just going to go to the back of the room to click on this. So we're going to do a little poll if this works. And if the technology doesn't work, then we're going to do it old school style. Okay. Now that should start up. Oh, look, it seems like it's working. I love it. Thanks, Luke. Oh, go, yep. Okay, so there's a QR code. Oh, damn, that thing's in front of the QR code. Let's hope that works. If you go back one slide, maybe, Luke, you think there might be a QR code? No, okay. Anyway, does that QR code work with that thing in front of it? The bloody thing. Okay, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. Okay, so what would have happened if that thing wasn't in front of the QR code is you would be able to scan that QR code and vote on this interactive poll. It would have been very impressive. You would have been very pleased by that. Let's just see if it works this time or not. But can we get to that first slide? Anyway. Oh, yeah, do that. Go to slido.com, type that code in, and then save that page because there's a couple more polls in this presentation. It's going to be a lot more fun if we do these polls. So open up your browser, just Chrome, whatever, slido.com, type that code in, and you should get to this poll. Does it work? Is it working? Okay. We've got some votes. Fantastic, we got a vote. Okay, so the poll is, how often do you post video content on LinkedIn? Let's just get a bit of a lay of the land here, a bit of an idea. Oh, good. Oh, it's working for some. I love it. Fantastic. Okay, all right. I'm just going to give it 2 minutes. Is it working? Yes. Yes, good. Okay, what's happening? 45% never. Oh, come on, at least once in 3 months. I did. You did vote? No. You did post?
I did see the benefit of it exactly the other day. Here's this woman doing little, what do they call them, little micro learning, what's the term?
Yep, little micro vertical videos or little videos.
Just learning, micro snapshots of learning.
Yeah, I call them micro learning. I love that term.
Micro learning for 1 minute. And, I've got a background as a teacher as well.
Lovely.
And she's just saying stuff that I do all the time, but she did it in a video on LinkedIn, and she's got like freaking 500,000 followers. I went, what the?
There you go.
Mate,
awesome.
How are you doing this?
Derek, how did you vote? Never?
Never.
Okay, have we all voted? If we can make that work, have we got enough votes in? 46% of this room, never. Oh, I'm actually disappointed by that. I thought it would be a bit higher. Okay, consistently at least once per month. Was that one vote that was 12%, or was that a couple? Hands up if this was you. Oh, well done. Oh, good. There's so few people got to 12% or 10%. Okay, it's all changing. This is very exciting. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to move on. That worked. Okay, keep that page open. So the thing is, LinkedIn has 875 million active users. I think it's the latest stat that I heard. I don't know, I haven't counted them. But there's a lot of people on LinkedIn, right? And we know that. That's why we're here today, to connect on LinkedIn. But the fact is that only less than 2% of people post content weekly. And that probably starts to seem right when we look at the statistics that came through there. So LinkedIn is a content platform. LinkedIn is not a resume. LinkedIn is something that a platform to use to share your expertise and connect with people through adding value to their lives so that value comes back in reciprocity for you, and then beautiful connections are made and business happens, right? That's the beauty of LinkedIn. But if you're not using LinkedIn to post content, then you're missing the opportunity. Okay, and as we've established, video content is one of the most powerful ways to do that. Okay, let's have another poll. It should be on the same page. You should, if you just open up the same page, you don't need to type the code in again. Is it correct? The poll's updated? Phew, good. Do you have a documented video strategy in your business? Documented. Yes, it's all planned out, and no, not really. It's kind of in my head. Or no. What are you talking about, Ben? Okay. Hopefully one of those three answers fits you, all right? Okay. No, what's that? 39. Oh, we've got a bit of a race. Go. No, it's in my head. No, what's that? Where's the yeses? There's none enough yeses. Okay, 41%, 38%. Give you another 10 seconds. Oh, 40%. Oh, this is exciting. I didn't expect that. Oh, have we really got a tie? Has everyone voted? Oh, we do. We have a winner. Have we got a winner? We have a winner. Okay, no, not really. It's in my head. Okay, at least you're thinking there's a bit of strategy there, right? But it's in my head. As we know in business, right? Having things in your head is one thing, but documenting it, putting it down, and then taking consistent action is another thing. Okay, so I think that's maybe a bit of a reminder that maybe it needs to come out of your head, right? Those 44% of people. Oh, see, it's continuing to go up. Okay, and the no, what's that? Okay, cool, I get it. Yes, it's all planned out. You guys are my people. Thank you. Hands up if that's you. Hands up if you voted there. Give yourself a pat on the back. Well done. Look at these people and connect with them on LinkedIn. Make sure you connect with them. Fantastic. Okay, thanks for playing along with that interactive, and it worked. Good. Keep that open. There's some more interactivity at the end when we get to a little quiz at the end. So keep that page handy. There's a quote here from a guy called Sun Tzu. Now, Sun Tzu wrote a book called The Art of War. He was writing about war in ancient China, not about modern digital marketing. I don't think he had a LinkedIn profile. He might have done. I don't know. But this quote is really relevant to modern digital marketing and what we're talking about here today. He wrote that strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is noise before defeat. Remember that. Do you have a documented strategy for your LinkedIn or for your marketing? And many people said, no, it's in my head. So strategy, having that plan, either in your head or on paper, without tactically implementing, without doing the things, is a slow route to victory. But conversely, doing the things, taking the action, posting all the videos and all the stuff online, but not having a strategy is potentially just noise before defeat. Hands up who thinks that the internet's a noisy place. It's a noisy place. Hands up if you're contributing to that noise. Let's not contribute to that noise. Let's think strategically, right? So you probably thought you'd come here today and you'd be filming stuff and I'd teach you how to make a video. Well, I'm not, okay? I'm sorry about that. But what I'm going to teach you today is how to think strategically about what are the right videos to be doing on LinkedIn in the right way to move people towards taking the right action for you and your business. Does that sound more valuable than learning how to press some buttons on a camera? Yes, good. So lots of nods there. That's good. And you can go to YouTube to learn how to make videos, okay? So you don't need that from me. But let's talk a little bit about kind of the why behind this, right? So a little caveat here, I'm not a brain scientist or a neuroscientist, in case that's a surprise to you. Any neuroscientists here tonight? Oh, no, okay, good. I'm like, damn, this is going to sound really dumb. Okay, good, no neuroscientists. Well, let's see how this goes. So the thing is, in brain science, there's a thing called the triune brain theory, which is the idea that the human brain is made up of three kind of parts of the brain, and they function in different ways. And we've evolved different areas of the brain in different ways as we've evolved as humans, right? As we've kind of grown from primates into humans and all that sort of stuff. I'm not a neuroscientist, right? So stick with me. So the first part of the brain, this kind of inner, this red part of the brain here is what's sometimes referred to as the reptilian brain or the amygdala. Okay, so the reptilian brain is that unevolved part of our brain at the top of the brainstem that pretty much every mammal has, which is about survival or fight or flight. Okay, it's the area that keeps us safe as humans. Now that reptilian brain functions within all of us without us even noticing. It's what makes us kind of in a dark alleyway or whatever, just makes us kind of nervous, and if some strange noise happens, we just run the other way, right? Before we even think about it, we're off, right? So because we feel unsafe, our body is designed to protect us, and it functions much quicker than we can even understand, right? So the reptilian brain is that first part, right? The second part of this 3 parts of the brain is what's called the limbic system. The limbic system is the more evolved part of our brain as humans, which is responsible for the emotional response, okay? So the limbic part is what kind of starts to make us more human, but there is some areas of the limbic brain that are functioning and have developed in other animals as well. So it's not just having a limbic part of our brain that kind of makes us human. But it's important that our emotional response is satisfied, right? As humans, we know that we kind of make decisions based on emotions before we really rationally think about it. Does that ever happen to you? That you're like, there's just that idea of like, oh, I feel a bit uncertain, or I feel a bit icky about this, but I don't really know why. That's that limbic part of the brain functioning without the next part of the brain really kicking in. So the next part of the brain is the largest part of the brain that really makes us human, which is called the neocortex, which is responsible for rational thought and processing, right? So simplistic, I know, but there's 3 parts to the brain, and when we understand in human connection and marketing and business that everyone we're dealing with is functioning in these 3 ways, right? So if the reptilian brain, like if you're talking to a prospect at a networking event and they feel physically threatened, they're not going to listen to you. They're certainly not going to buy from you. They're going to run away from you, right? We get it in human nature that that's how people work. And then if we move further up, so let's say that they're not feeling physically threatened. You haven't got like an axe in your hand and doing this, right? So, okay, the reptilian brain is happy. I'm comfortable with that. And then you go, okay, the limbic system needs to be dealt with. So if you're in this same networking event and you just get this feeling that this person is not a good fit for you. You don't really connect emotionally. I'm not saying you need to love the person, right? That's not the emotion I'm referring to here, but there's emotions that are making you feel just a bit not right with this person, right? Then you're still not going to go further. You're still not going to connect. You're not going to do business with them. You're going to figure out a way to kind of back away slowly, right? Or maybe fast. So that's the limbic system not being dealt with. But let's say that you get a good vibe from this person. You're connecting with that person. So now you're open to rational thought. And the neocortex can kick in and you're actually thinking, I wonder if I could do business with this person. I wonder how much their service costs. I wonder, if whatever, right? So now your rational brain's kicking in. Do we get that from a human nature perspective? That's how people function. So that's how we should be marketing to people, right? We're going from an emotional connection through to, I went a bit too far, through to a rational decision. That's how humans make decisions, right? We make decisions based on emotion and then we justify those decisions with logic, rational reasoning, right? So let's think about how that aligns with how we talk about our business. Has anyone come across this called the Golden Circle Principle? Made popular by a guy called Simon Sinek. A few hands and nods. And so Simon Sinek, definitely a TED Talk worth checking out if you haven't seen it. It's called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Millions of views on YouTube. Simon Sinek, if you can read that, S-I-N-E-K down the bottom there. So he talked about this idea that good communicators, good leaders talk about their business from the inside of that circle out. So rather than talking about from the outside in about what they do and how they do it, and very rarely getting to why they do what they do, Simon talks about that good communication and good marketing and good leaders communicate from the inside out, which is from the emotional, why is the emotion, through to rational. It's the same way the human brain works, right? We can see that it all lines up there. And let's take that to something that everybody understands, which is the idea of human relationships, dating, right? I like to use the analogy of a first date. So in the first date scenario, whether it be a blind date or whatever, you're in what you might call the awareness phase when you're thinking about kind of the marketing funnel, right? So that first date is where you want to make a good emotional connection. Well, assuming that the amygdala or the reptilian brain's dealt with, so assuming your first date hasn't turned up with an axe, right? So we'll take that out of the equation, or a big knife, whatever, that's getting a bit weird. So assuming that you're not physically threatened, then the goal of that first date is to make the right emotional connection. You're not going to, on the first date, be talking about all the rational stuff like, what suburb do you think you should live in when we get married? And what's the names of our children? And is that going to be a good first date? No, you're talking too much about the rational stuff. You're not focused on the emotion. So what you're going to do on the first date is you're going to show up, you're going to dress nicely, you're going to take them to a nice restaurant, you're going to tell great stories, you're going to smile, you're going to make a great first impression. Because if you can get that emotional connection dealt with first, then you can move through to the second phase of that dating analogy, which is, in the marketing terms, we would call it the consideration phase or middle of the funnel, if you're familiar with marketing terminology. But it's basically that second and third date, right? So the goals of the second and third date is, yes, you still need to make a good emotional connection. You still need to connect emotionally with that person. But now you do need to start to get to know them a bit more. Understand they've got some substance there. Like, what do they do? What do they like? What's their life like? That's the goals of that second and third date, where you want to learn a bit more value and gain a bit more value from that person and build a bit more trust, right? And then, in the dating analogy, we're going to move to the conversion, right? Or the purchase, okay? And in the dating analogy, you can imagine what that conversion might be. It's not always straight to making a baby, but that's the picture that I got there. So, but what would happen in dating if you go straight for the purchase on the first date? You go to Tinder. We're moving from an emotional realisation of a need through to a rational decision to purchase, but so many people, if you're approaching it this way on your first date, is you're going to get slapped around the face, okay? Now, when we think of, it's not a good feeling, right, to be slapped in the face on the first date. You're like, oh, I did something wrong there. Hopefully you know what you did. But so the thing is that so many people in their marketing, in the way that they approach building relationships and content on LinkedIn or any of their marketing, they're going for the conversion on the first date. Does that resonate with you? You're putting information out there about buy my stuff. This is how much we cost. Look at my services. Look at the great stuff I do. But people don't want to buy from you on the first date. So how can we use that understanding of how humans need to respond and how humans respond to each other to how we should be showing up for our customers? Because guess what, guys? Our customers are also humans. I thought you guys would know where I was going with that. Anyway, your customers are in fact humans. Did you know that? Yes. People buy from people. How funny. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's bring it down to kind of a marketing kind of term, right? Whether you're a marketer or not, hopefully you'll get this or you've heard this before. The idea that in marketing there's a kind of a funnel, and it's exactly what I talked you through in that first date kind of analogy, that at the top of the funnel, where any potential customer of yours, any potential client, anyone in your audience, so to speak, so top of funnel or tofu there at the top, not like tofu like the soy-based thing, but top of funnel tofu content is what we call awareness content, which is at the top of the funnel, anyone who potentially is interested in your stuff. So you've got more people at the top, and then as they move closer to making a purchase or a conversion, then it's going to get smaller at the bottom of the funnel, right? That's why it's a funnel in marketing terms. I think you get that. Yep, you've been in business long enough to have heard that before. So we've got top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. We've got 3 different stages. People need to be spoken to, and they need to be exposed to different content from your business at different stages of that funnel. Just like the dating analogy, if you try and go in with a conversion, which is really a bottom of the funnel kind of piece of content or approach, and it's being seen by someone who's actually at the beginning of that dating journey with you, then it's going to feel like a slap in the face. So with that understanding, I'm going to share with you what a strategy for using LinkedIn and using video might look like. And I like to refer to it as the inverted funnel. Okay, so LinkedIn marketing, LinkedIn video marketing inverted funnel. That's a bit of a mouthful. Maybe I need a better name for it. But on the left here, you see the funnel that we're now familiar with. We get that, right? But on the right is the types of content that I recommend that you post for different stages of that funnel. And the reason why it's inverted is that you're going to need less quantity of content at the top of the funnel, and as we go further down the funnel, you're going to need more content at the bottom of the funnel. Okay? That's why it's inverted. But how you use that content is different. Okay? So this is going to make sense as we go through it. You know, you've kind of caught me out here. Like, basically, this strategy is absolutely relevant off LinkedIn, but we're talking about LinkedIn today, so that's why I put LinkedIn in the title there. Okay, but absolutely, all of this approach, if you're using Facebook as a primary platform or using Instagram, am I allowed to say those words? Just checking. Okay. So yes, it's good marketing strategy, good video strategy that applies on LinkedIn. It absolutely applies on other platforms. Good question. But let's talk about LinkedIn. Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about that first one. Top of funnel, right? So awareness-based content, which is designed to make what sort of a connection with people? What sort of a connection? Emotional connection, thank you very much. So it's designed to connect with emotions, which means that the goal for this sort of content is to get your prospect to buy in before you ask them to buy. I'll say that again. The goal for this content is to get them to buy in, and I'm pointing to my heart there because buying in is an emotional thing, right? Before you ask them to buy. So the kinds of content that you're going to create here could be, for example, what we would call brand story content, or so like brand promotional videos, those sorts of things that you might invest a bit more money in, and they really tell the heart of your story, your business, right? Client stories are very powerful here. And by client stories, I'm not referring to like testimonials where you've got them kind of backed up against a white wall and they're saying, yeah, I really liked working with Kay from Dash Social. She was really good. That's a testimonial. Well, that's a gun to the head testimonial. That's not a nice testimonial. But a client story would be more something where they might say, you know, the video is created in a way that takes you on the journey with that success story of that client, where the client says something like, before I worked with Kay from Dash Social, you know, my marketing was a mess. You know, we didn't know where to find our next customers. Our platforms were, you know, a jumble, and LinkedIn was all over the place. And then we discovered Kay, and she took us through this journey, and now the business is booming. And that's right, isn't it, Kay? That's a true story. Yeah. So the client story is going to take people on an emotional journey. Okay, that can be something that you invest money into, or it can be something you can do just in a well-told story, in, you know, a live video or just a, you know, iPhone video, right? Video podcasts are great for this, what we call macro content at the top of the funnel. The goal for macro content, regardless of what kind of type of content it is it's designed to be the kind of content that you put effort into creating once or twice, say a quarter, for your business, and it's going to have some long legs for you. So it's the kind of content that is going to last a while. There's a lot you can do with it, and potentially there's a lot of ways you can pull bits out of the bigger content. That's why it's called macro content, right? So cause promotion. So if you're more of a cause-based business, promoting like what you stand for and what you're about, promotional videos. I'll just briefly explain like tentpole events. So what I mean by tentpole events is certain businesses have certain industry or times throughout the year which are tentpoles, which is, you imagine like the the old circus tent, right, where the big tent pole's in the middle and then the tent comes down off the side. So those sorts of events, you know, in your industry, there's certain things that happen, let's think about the finance nerds in the room. End of financial year is a tentpole event, right? So there's going to be certain stuff that you might do at certain tentpole moments throughout the year in your industry that you kind of ramp up to and then you can ramp down from. So you can actually get a lot of content value from tentpole events over a long period of time throughout the year if you plan for them. Does that make sense, that idea of tentpole? You'll know what those are in your industry. LinkedIn Live is another a great tool to use for creating this macro content. So it can be longer form interviews on LinkedIn Live or just teaching or webinar kind of content using LinkedIn Live. It's a great way to use video to capture those bigger bits of content that you can then, in the next part of the strategy, is you can then take it and turn it into smaller pieces of content. So with the macro content, I kind of consider that it's about 20% of your total content spread. Okay, so about 20% of what you want to be aiming to create or plan for in a given period or year will be this sort of macro content. Usually want to invest a bit more in production when you have the funds for that, but it should be a higher quality type of production. It's not the kind of thing that you're just going to slap together really quick and just go, that'll do, right? So normally better quality production. You want to make sure that you're heroing the client for this sort of content. So what I mean by that is it can't be all about you. This sort of content needs to be where you are the guide to that client's success. So your customer or your client needs to feel like the hero when they're engaging with this content. Like, this is about me, this is important for me, this is going to help me, or this is showing how you help people like me, right? From a duration, we're getting quite tactical here, but duration, these kinds of videos are like 1 to 5 minutes, sometimes longer, but more or less they're typically in that 1 to 5 minute range. And they're the kinds of videos that, even though I say that you only need to do 1 or 2 like a quarter, but you can repost them multiple times. So these are kind of the hero videos that you might actually share to your LinkedIn page, 3, 4, 5 times throughout the quarter. You don't just use them once and that's it, so don't just forget about them. Definitely they're the kind of content that when you're building out your LinkedIn profile or your page, then you're going to add them to the featured section there as well. So these are the kinds of hero bits of content which really are about what you do. Does that make sense? Cool. So that's the kind of top of funnel. That awareness-based content looks something like this. Let's go to, I missed the middle one, micro content. So micro content is that middle of the funnel, okay? I'll move my head out of the way while you're taking the pictures there. So micro content is that, as Derek was, no, it wasn't Derek, who was referring to the micro content? Was it you, Derek? Someone, we were talking about micro content before. Was that what we were talking about, Derek? It was, wasn't it? Yes. Derek was referring to micro learning content. So this is effectively what it is. It's content that adds value to your target audience, teaches, educates, informs, inspires, entertains. It can take a form of micro learning, or it can be snippets of your macro content. So macro snippets, meaning you take that bigger video that you created and you cut it into little bits that you can use as micro content in the middle of the funnel. Thought leadership is really great here. So if you're someone who has an opinion about something or expertise on something, or there's things happening in your industry that you want to comment on, creating content around that is great micro content, okay? So it's not the kind of content that you're going to hero in your business, but it's the kind of content that you put out there, and particularly on LinkedIn, people will either gravitate towards you, or they'll be repelled away from you. And typically those people who are repelled away from that thought leadership content, they're not your ideal customers anyway, right? So put your opinion, be human, put your beliefs out into the world in a way that you're comfortable that's with your brand, but do that and people will resonate towards you. I call that marketing like a magnet. That idea of a magnet attracts the best and repels the rest, right? So that's what you want to be doing with your thought leadership content. If you're a product-based business, so far we're talking kind of more service-based business. If you're a product-based business, you can do short little product features. So you can do short little videos that highlight different aspects of your product range or your products, to use those as micro content. It's not like your big sales videos, that's maybe more your macro content, but your little snippets about different product features. Take people behind the scenes. If you're a business that's, any business, take people behind the scenes is good. People want to know how the sausage is made in the sausage factory. Maybe you don't want to know that actually. If you're any sausage factory owners, no, okay. Don't take people behind the sausage factory, but If you're a manufacturer, if you do something, take people into your warehouse, show them how it's made, show them, where you source your materials from. If you're a service-based business, show them a little bit about your process or your framework for working with your clients so that they, understand that you've got some expertise and some way of working with them. So take them behind the scenes. Allow them to meet the team. Micro content's great in this middle of the funnel where people get to know that it's not just you, that you have a team, that they're all friendly and they all have their own personalities. So allow the team to get out in front there. Or if you do events or you attend events, create micro content at those events as well. Lots of great ideas to get the brain ticking, hopefully, for what we call micro content there as part of your LinkedIn video strategy. This should take out probably about 50% of your content spread. So we're in the middle of the funnel there. About 50% of the types of content you would be creating should be this sort of micro content. Used in the middle of the funnel, that consideration phase designed to add value, educate, inform, inspire, not just sell, right? Typically, the duration there is like 20 seconds, so they can be quite short and sharp. Up to 2 minutes, that can be okay if you've got value to share in those 2 minutes. But you want it to be quite consumable, bite-sized, shareable. People don't have long attention spans when they're scrolling social media and LinkedIn, so go for that 20 seconds to 2 minutes sort of duration. You want to be, ideally, posting content, at least new content, weekly in this kind of micro content strategy, right? So not just once a quarter with one video and that's it, but at least weekly, ideally even daily for this micro content. That might sound a lot to some people. Commit to like a new piece of content weekly is a really good way to get started. And when you're posting this content, because this content is designed to get people to engage, right? To actually watch and pay attention and learn something, then what should happen is you should get some comments, right? So we're talking LinkedIn here. So you'll get comments on LinkedIn. What you should be doing then is actually engaging in those comments, right? So going back and saying, thanks for commenting, Derek. What did you find most insightful about this? Or open a conversation in the comments, right? And create content that actually prompts engagement in the comments, okay? If you're putting content out there and everyone's just like, meh, and then you probably missed the point there, right? So without going into specifics, on LinkedIn specifically, if you're a personal brand kind of a business or you are the face of your business or you or your people, I usually recommend turning on creator mode on LinkedIn when you're sharing this kinds of content because you can do a number of things. You can indicate to LinkedIn that there are certain topics that you speak about, like hashtags that you will kind of want to be featured for and that sort of thing. You'll also get better insights and data and analytics of your content there, and you're also able to do things like post LinkedIn newsletters, and we won't get into all of that data there, but just Google search or search LinkedIn about what creator mode will do for you, or speak to Kay here, will help you as well. So creator mode is preferred if you are going into this strategy in this way. And use and utilize hashtags for your micro content. That'll help get it exposed to new people. And hashtags is also a great way to find your content, whether it's you or other people as well. So micro content, middle of the funnel. Think of it like those second and third dates, right? You're not going for the conversion, you're not going for the purchase in this content, but you're also not just doing the fluffy stuff that might be that first date, okay? You need to add a little bit more meat here in the micro content. And then we go to the bottom of the funnel, or BOFU. Doesn't sound as good as tofu. BOFU content, the bottom of the funnel content, is where you do want to be doing the selling, okay? Now, remember I said before that this is where you probably want most of your content. So in the inverted content strategy there, this is where, and I say 30 to 50%, savvy ones in the audience will go, but you said 50% for that last one there. But 30 to 50%, I needed to kind of make it equal 100%. But the reality is here is this kind of content is the kind of content that particularly for salespeople, if you're responsible for selling in your business or making that conversion or building that relationship that's going to lead to that conversion, then this is probably where you need to spend most of your time with content on LinkedIn. But critically, this is not the content that you want to have just posting to your feed. So this isn't content you want to post on LinkedIn just as a post, right? This is kind of content you want to use more directly. So I call this sort of content sales enablement content, So these are the kind of videos that you'll create in your business, which you can use in a number of different ways, but in LinkedIn specifically, this is the kind of videos that you can use to send to prospects or people who are interested or are engaged in some sort of connection request or a conversation with you, or made an inquiry, or you've had a little bit of a chat with them in the LinkedIn messages or in the inbox, and they're showing interest, okay? You're only going to present the conversion, the purchase, when they've shown interest. You're not going to do it on the first date. When they've shown enough signals to you that as a salesperson you go, right, this person actually needs to know a bit more about this, right? So sales enablement videos can be videos, anywhere from 30 seconds up to even 10 minutes in duration, which do the job of a salesperson. Not all of the job, not 100% of the job, but when we used to buy something, an electronics goods kind of, one of those wheelie trolleys with the VHS player on it. But, any kind of electronics. We used to actually walk into an electronics store, a retailer, bricks and mortar place, and we used to usually try and speak to a salesperson, particularly if we went in there with intent to buy a fridge, for example. We would want to talk to a salesperson and say, oh, can you tell me which one of these is going to be best, and show me, how you open and shut the door here, and all that sort of stuff. You want the salesperson, when you have high intent to buy or make a purchase, you actually want to be sold to, don't you? Okay, but the thing is, people don't want to walk into a bricks and mortar store anymore, and they don't want to talk to a salesperson. They want to do that research themselves before they speak to a salesperson. In fact, statistics say today that 70% of the sale is made before they even speak to a salesperson. So you're 70% of the way to conversion in many cases. Think about your own behaviour when you're buying things. How much research do you do? How much do you want to learn before you actually commit to, okay, yes, I'll have a sales conversation with this person? Okay, so these sorts of videos are the kinds of things that, they might be quite short videos and there might be longer videos that talk more specifically and rationally about what you do, what your service is, how you do it, how you're different, what your framework or your process is, or if you're a product-based business, it might be like an actual product walkthrough video that shows like how this thing functions, or a demonstration of a thing. And these are the kind of videos that you can put into a LinkedIn inbox message, or if you're connected outside of LinkedIn via email or things like that, you can actually send in emails to get that conversion across the line. Other ways to think about these sorts of direct content is directly in the inbox, or in the LinkedIn inbox. Obviously, build the relationship, make the connection. Don't pitch, like it says here. Focus on the relationship before you pitch. But then you might use video to follow up with someone. So let's say you're quite a prolific networker, and you go to a lot of networking events. You make a lot of LinkedIn connection requests because you're a gun at getting out that QR code and going, yeah, connected, yes. But then you forget about them, right? They forget about you. But you recognise that someone that you are connected with on LinkedIn, that you did meet once face-to-face, but they're actually a really good connection for you and could be a good referral partner. Then pull out your app, your LinkedIn app, open up the messages, the inbox, press the little video button on there, do a selfie video, just says, whatever it is, it's a follow-up, right? And this follow-up would be, hey, it's been a while, we've been connected. I'm pretty sure, we met at this event. I remember you talking about your son playing rugby on the weekend. I don't know, whatever, some kind of personal connection there that you remember. And then say, hey, I've been thinking it would be really cool for us to connect further and to learn a bit more about what we do. What do you say we catch up for a coffee? Whatever that process is for you, right? But that's personal outreach on video. Has so much more cut through than just some kind of a quick little message in text format that you'll send through. So this is all part of your video strategy, right? There's a strategy here. You're not going to a video producer to make that. You're using your app. You're creating it right there in the app. Same for a cold outreach. This can work really well for cold outreach. So maybe you've made a connection request, but you've never actually met this person. Who does that on LinkedIn? Everybody, right? But you've actually done a bit of research and you're like, actually, this connection would be really good for me to get to know better, and do a video outreach. And you can use a tool. There's tools like Vidyard, for example, which you can use, which will do like, say, screen recordings where you can have their website open. You can have your face in a little circle, and you can use your webcam to do that, for example. You can do that right in, the Vidyard has a Chrome extension which allows you to do that right in the LinkedIn inbox, so you don't need to open another tool to do that. It's right there. And that'll actually allow you to create that short video. Maybe if you're a web designer or a marketer and you're like, look, I've been looking at your website, I did a quick audit and there's opportunity for this, this and this. Hope that's of value to you. I just wanted to share a bit of what I see on your website. If you want to talk more about that, that's what we do. We help people with this. Let me know if that's something that we can do. So you're adding value, you're giving them some sort of tip or idea. That can be really good for cold outreach. It's worked really well for us. Where we've shared some opportunities that we see for video that people maybe are missing. And it doesn't feel slimy. You're adding value, you're leading with value into that conversation. And what's the worst that can happen? They get a bit of value from you and they go, hey, thanks for your video. It was nice to kind of, have that personal connection. Not right now, thanks, and move on, right? But you're going to be in their heads, right? That human connection's made. So cold outreach, really good for that, or warm outreach. Re-engagement is another way to think about this. What about those prospects who you used to be quite connected with and used to do some work with, or almost got them across the line, but then they've gone cold and they've kind of almost maybe forgotten about you? How many people do you think you're connected with on LinkedIn that potentially are good opportunities for business for you, but you've kind of let it go cold? Yeah, there's nods, right? So there's probably, if you go through your LinkedIn connections, there's probably quite a few there. If they already know you, it's even easier to open up one of these apps or just straight in the LinkedIn inbox video tool and just create a quick video and say, hey, it's been, 2-3 years since we last spoke? Wow, where did time go, It happens, right? Sometimes it is 3, 4, 5 years, pre-pandemic. Just use that as a great way to re-engage with people. You will see results. Or use video in that way to request a referral. So maybe it's someone that you can reach out with a short video and just make a polite but direct request to, look, we're looking to be introduced to more legal practice managers like you. I know, you love what we do and we've done good work for you over the years, but we're looking to expand our network. Anyone on LinkedIn that you can introduce me to? You can do that via text, of course you can, but you can do that via video and it feels much more personal and people are much less likely to say no. It's funny people are much less likely to say no. So, yeah. Sorry?
But they've got to do it this way, direct, not the macro level. I've had some tricky people, call them, reaching out, but they do it on Messenger or LinkedIn. I go and just say, what in the F are you?
Right, exactly. So, important, focus on the relationship first. Yeah. Don't do this to just people that are, completely out of the blue for you. Although I did say it does work well for cold outreach if you lead with value. Even if you're like, who the hell are you? It depends on how you do it, right? So if you get a cold video like that from someone, but they're actually like, they've done their research, they're looking at your website, they're like, they're actually adding value and you're going, oh, actually that's really good. Thank you so much for reaching out with that. Then that doesn't feel slimy. Okay, there are ways to do that slimy and not successful. Yeah, right, and we get it a lot. But I do say don't discredit the outreach with video because it does humanise it, okay, if you add value. So, it could be 30 to 50% of your content. The production doesn't need to be highly produced. It just needs to be direct and clear. So you can use webcams or iPhones or smartphones. Definitely focus on the relationship first and don't pitch. It's not a pitch. You'll end up slapping people in the face. Add value first. You can go direct to the inbox or you can use tools like Vidyard. Again, the great benefit of tools like Vidyard is you can actually see when they've watched it. Vidyard will say someone watched your video and they watched like 50% of the way through or 100% of the way through, which is great to actually see whether or not they've engaged with it. So that's what we call direct content. So when we think about that LinkedIn video content roadmap that I've shared here today, you need to be thinking about what sort of videos are you going to start implementing in all three of these different levels. Now, to kind of summarise this for you, before we get to the little quiz that we're going to do, hope you've been paying attention. The macro content, top of funnel, awareness-based content, emotional. It's designed to get that buy-in before you ask them to buy. Aim for 1 to 4 content pieces per quarter. So if you can just start leaving here today and go, what's my one macro content that I can create this quarter? At least, what's my one kind of main piece of content that I can create, whether I pay to create it if you've got the budget, or you create it yourself. What's my one macro content? Or four. Micro content, middle of the funnel, this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time in creating content and sharing it. And micro content could be at least 4 to 12 content pieces per month. It could be more, absolutely could be more. It could be, 20, could be 30, Gary Vaynerchuk, well, I don't know, 120, 2,000. Micro content, look, I know the audience in the room here. I'm thinking if you can aim for a minimum of 4, even up to 12 pieces of content per month, you can recycle them, you can use them again and again. But that's the kind of frequency you want to be looking at. And direct content, it's at the bottom of the inverse funnel here because it's really where, if your business is about making sales and making connections that lead to sales, then the question is, well, how many prospects do you have? You could do 20 of these tomorrow. You go through your LinkedIn request and create 20 kind of follow-up videos or re-engagement videos just using the video app or your webcam. And, how much time do you have? How many prospects do you have? You could absolutely be creating 100 pieces of that content in a month, easily, if your role is selling in your business. Is that helpful? Awesome. Cool. I just want to I don't want you to be overwhelmed here, right? Because the thing is, you can start anywhere here, and then you can scale it up from there. If you take one thing away from today and you go, right, well, one thing I'm going to start doing is just do a bit of this direct content in the next couple of days. I'm going to just do some video-based outreach to some of my warm prospects or warm connections on LinkedIn and see what happens. You can start there. Or you could start by just having a chat with your team or whatever, or planning it out on your whiteboard at home. What's my 4 bits of content I'm going to do in the 4 quarters of the next 12 months? What are my 4 macro bits of content I'm going to create? So you can start anywhere and you can scale from there. Don't get overwhelmed. So I want to play a little bit of a game. And the technology worked so well before. This is probably going to be terrible, but shall we give it a go? Can I ask you guys, we need 4 stools up here. Can we get 4 stools? I should have organised that before, but, planning. No, they've got to be stools. You'll understand why. Can I get one volunteer, first of all? Someone who wants to jump up here and opportunity to spruik their business a little bit. Karen, fantastic. Karen, can I'm going to confuse things a bit. I'm going to put 3 stools over this side and 1 stool over that side, okay? So 1, 2, 3. Karen, I'm going to give you this microphone here. Karen, can you come sit on this stool right here? Okay, so... So Karen, little quick opportunity to introduce the room to your business. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you do, just so that we know who's on the seat here? Good start.
I'm Karen. My business is Plannerful Health. I work for myself, just me. And I coach mostly women, older women about my age, who have hot flushes and all those hormonal issues. And we just bring that back to balance using food and lifestyle only. No drugs or anything like that.
Okay, so wellness. Awesome, thank you. So Karen, a wellness coach for women, is there an age range specifically?
Usually over about 45, and yes, I'm qualified naturopath nutritionist.
Awesome, cool. So now, can I ask for 3 volunteers who feel that they might be, if you were connected on LinkedIn, you might be either a good referral partner or you might be a good client potentially. If we can't get 3, I'm going to ask for someone to pretend to be that kind of person, that 45 plus woman. We've got some people in the room here who fit this bill. I know we do. Come on up, please. You're one of our wonderful... So whether or not you are connected with Karen, it doesn't matter. Just if you fit that... Yeah, you can sit here. That'll be great. Thank you. And we've got... sorry, what's your name? I can't see that.
Andrea.
Andrea is contestant number 1. Kelly is contestant number 2. Do we have a third who fits the connection request? So,
We're of that age.
awesome. Can I just ask, do you guys feel like there would be some benefit to being connected to Karen on LinkedIn, potentially. Okay, cool. I'm just going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves just so you get an opportunity to say what you do to the room as well. And you can hold the microphone.
I've got a mic.
Yeah, so this is your little moment to spruik yourself.
Hello, I'm Andrea. I'm Pure Romance by Andrea. I do fun in-home parties for women only, helping them with their sexual health, wellness and intimacy.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrea.
Do you provide the men?
No men. I hope you get them.
Oh, good. Okay. Just checking for a friend.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Kelly.
Kelly.
I'm Kelly, and I'm a financial planner, believe it or not. Oh.
Nice and loud, Kelly.
And I specialize in insurance claims, so total and permanent disability, income protection, et cetera, so you don't have to pay a lawyer to take half your money. And yes, I'm of that age group. How about you, Kim? How about you, Kim?
Kim?
Hi, I'm definitely at the bottom end of that age group. My name's Kim Cousins. I actually work for LinkedIn. I'm a sales trainer, so I help LinkedIn sales teams sell you more advertising space.
Love it. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I hope you guys are all paying attention today because we're doing a little game show here. So can I also ask, as well as potentially being a fit for Karen, is there a potential fit for Karen to be any of your clients, potentially? Without knowing too much about Karen right now, potentially a good fit, potentially financial advice, financial planning, potentially LinkedIn sales or some training maybe. Okay, cool. So that's good. We've worked out a great group of people here. Now I'm just going to head to the back of the room because there's no audio on this computer and we're going to start the game. How are we going for time? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, just going to start the game here. And it goes a little something like this. Hopefully you can hear it. Oh, hang on. Wait. Uh-oh. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but let's pretend you can.
Like beaches and creek, the continent team, like sand in the sea, birds at the beach, like an oyster and a pearl, a guy and a girl. What have you got? You got a perfect match.
Yes, it's perfect match. Now.
Here he comes, Greg Evans, yay! It's a bit of a nostalgia tonight, right? I was only 9 years old when Perfect Match went off the air, but anyway, it's always a classic. So, yeah, 1989, so, you know, it was, anyway. Who knows Perfect Match? You remember Perfect Match? So what we're going to do today is we're going to play a little game of Perfect LinkedIn Match. Okay, so Perfect LinkedIn Match. And how this is going to work is, if you remember the format of Perfect Match, basically we had our lucky suitor here who was trying to go on a date with one of these lovely other suitors here. Gender doesn't matter, don't worry about that. And there was a big wall here. Imagine there's a big wall here so you can't see these contestants. Just imagine, it's okay, don't worry. And the contestant here is going to ask some questions of the three contestants, and it's up to you guys to answer truthfully, how you want to answer, and your goal is obviously to become the perfect match. You with me? Now, we haven't got Dexter the robot here, you know, Dexter the robot, we're kind of, and we're not going to allow Karen to decide who's the perfect match. In fact, you guys, the studio audience, are going to vote for using our amazing technology that we had before, so hopefully you've still got that voting page up on your phone. You with me? Should we play the game? All right, cool. Here's some questions I prepared earlier. So question number one, contestant, nice and loud, please, to our contestants.
I've just accepted a connection request from you on LinkedIn. What will you do next in order to develop a stronger relationship with me?
Okay, so contestant number one.
I would organise us to have a coffee date so that we can get to know each other better and find out more.
How would you do that via LinkedIn?
I would do that by a direct video.
Thank you, contestant number one. Contestant number two. Thank you, nice and loud, please, contestant number two.
I would send a messenger message and say thank you for the connection, and your services sound really interesting to me, so let's get together and talk more about what you do and what I do and see what we can do for each other.
Fantastic. Going straight for the kill. That's good. Okay. And contestant number 3, Kim?
I would send a note saying thanks for your connection. If you would like to get to know us any better, I'd love to catch up with you and send a link to my Calendly appointment.
Ooh, automation tools. Love it. Okay. Fantastic. So all contestants noting there, all contestants going pretty much straight for let's catch up, let's go on a date. First time we kind of connected. Anyway, that's all good. It's not up to Karen to decide anyway, so it is up to you to decide. So, studio audience, please place your votes. Contestant number 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So from your left to right, please place your votes, and I think I can make this a little bit more authentic while we do that. We have about 5 more seconds. Have you voted? Okay. All right. I'm going to assume enough people have voted because connection number 1, you've won the first round. Congratulations. Now we know how this game works. We got 2 more questions. Let's see what happens. Okay, question number 2.
In my personal time, I like long walks on the beach and scrolling through LinkedIn at coffee shops. Describe to me how you'll show up on my LinkedIn feed during my daily scroll.
Okay, so...
Not the stroll, the scroll.
So on her daily LinkedIn scroll, how are you showing up, contestant number 1?
With content that will help you understand some sexual health issues or ways that I can help with that, and further down the track, what sort of products that they would be.
So what sort of content, contestant number 1?
What sort of content?
What form would that content take?
As in educational content.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And what media would that use?
LinkedIn video. Yeah. Video. Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
good. I'll just give you a little bit of help there. That's great. Okay, thank you. Contestant number 2. I put you on the spot, I know.
What was the question?
Okay, so how are you showing up on her daily scroll? So she's scrolling, she sees a piece of content from you. What does she see?
She will see me walking on the beach with my dogs and talking about how beautiful life can be when you're fully insured and have someone on your side to deal with all the messy claims part of your life.
I like it. So, taking a personal angle there, round of applause, yeah, sure. So, you're doing let's say you're doing a LinkedIn Live from your phone, walking on the beach, but you're also sharing, as well as the beautiful place you're walking with your dogs, about the importance of having your insurance sorted. And I love it, that's nice, very good. Okay. Sorry, I can't influence the vote, sorry. Okay, contestant number 3.
So it wouldn't be video, but there would always be a photograph. So it would either be a reshare of a thought leadership article with a photograph about something that I'm passionate about, which might be leadership coaching, or it could be a photograph of a bunch of people on a Zoom where I've delivered a fantastic training session and what benefits that's been.
Wonderful, thank you. Contestant number 3, so deliberate choice to not use video, but that's okay, all good. I love it. Video is not the be-all and end-all. I'm happy with that. Okay, so 10 seconds to vote on which contestant gave the best response to that one. And my very smoothly played music. It's not playing. Why isn't it playing? Technology. Okay, all right. So we've got connection number 2 has seemed to have beaten out all competition there. So we have 1 vote so far for connection number 1 and connection number 2. Well done. So congratulations to connection number 2 for being the perfect match for question number 2. Yes, did I get that right? I got that right. Okay, final question here for our suitor.
So you've noticed that I've engaged quite a bit with your LinkedIn content over the last few weeks. I've left a few reactions. I've commented positively on some of your content. And in my most recent comment, I said, we should chat more about this as it sounds super interesting to me. So what's your next move, hotshot?
Okay, so you're with it. So she's been engaging with all your posts and she's really interested. What's your next move?
I would then put up the video that I would have already have done, explaining exactly what I do, how it can benefit her, and where we can go from there.
Fantastic. And you'd share that video like in the inbox? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. Contestant number 2.
Well, I think I would focus on what she could do for me. So I would say, yes, I do have hot flashes and I am on lots of hormones, and I'd like to know how you can help me live a more natural life without all of that. And if you want to know more about my business at the same time, then let's have a chat.
I love it. So you're leading with interest in her business because you know that may lead to business for you. I like it. Cool. Okay. Kim.
Sorry, so the question was Karen's.
She's been engaging on lots of your posts.
Of
She's
my
commented
posts.
a lot. She's actually, the latest comment said, I love what you're talking about. We should talk more.
Absolutely, okay.
So she's shown a lot of interest in you.
Awesome. I'd do 2 things. I would respond to her comment in the post to say, that's fantastic, love to connect. I'll send you a direct message. Then I would go into my direct message and I would whip out my phone and I would click on the little video and I'd say, hey Karen, I'd love to catch up. I think we could take this conversation further. Let me know when you're available. Here's my phone number, here's my email address, and give details in the direct message.
Lovely. Okay, everyone good? Everyone understood where we're going with this? You know what's happening. I just got to get my music going. Okay, so turn the voting on. Oh, there's the voting. Okay, number 3 is good to go, and you got 10 seconds. Oh, the suspense is killing me. Connection number 3. Oh my goodness, is that rigged? Well done, connection number 3. Big round of applause. So, excuse me, we actually have a tie. I did not know that was going to happen. So, contestant number 1 won the first question, contestant number 2 won the second. Is that supposed to happen that way? Anyway, that's how it happens. That's the way the game show crumbles. So, we don't have a clear winner, so instead I'm going to go to Karen to pick the winner. Who would you love to go on a LinkedIn date with?
Gosh.
And the prize is you go to SeaWorld Nara Resort for 2 days and you get to go on a jet ski safari. And the cameras come with you.
Oh, and the camera.
Oh, they always do. Yeah.
It's very tricky because I really love contestant number 1 for our mutual connections that we'll be able to have, because I think I could help many of her clients to find their sexual expression by being a little bit healthier and less dry vagina that you get when you're at that age, and all the other stuff.
And the rest.
All the other stuff, yes. And number 2 is very appealing because number 2 herself would like or requires some assistance with getting off all those drugs and onto the natural stuff, which is great. And Kim, she's beautiful and she's my friend, so I would like... It's very, very difficult to choose. I probably have to go with all 3, but number 1 because that's the bigger picture.
Excellent. Contestant number 1. If you guys can just stand up just to, finish this. And there's a wall between them here, and the wall reveals back and they see each other for the first time. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And you're going on a holiday together. Fantastic. Can we get a big round of applause for all of our perfect LinkedIn contestants? It kind of worked. There we go. Thanks for playing Perfect LinkedIn Match with me here today.